Carbon removal has a messaging problem. I've written before about the erroneous reporting on the need for carbon removal, and it's because of that reporting that most people think that decarbonization alone is enough to get us to a healthy climate, and it's not. It's out-of-date information. If you looked at the IPCC reports from 10 years ago or before that, we could have gotten to a stable climate just through decarbonization. But the most recent IPCC reports in 2023 and even before that in 2018 now require carbon removal for every model for a stable climate. So at the same time all this bad messaging is happening, we're seeing early stage entrepreneurs make a go at removing carbon from the sky. And while they're starting companies, they're struggling to raise their first couple $1 million, and some are going out of business. So if nothing changes, the conversation is going to stay at carbon removal is optional. We'll continue to see some people make really valiant efforts. They'll start a company or they'll go out and make a catalytic purchase or a catalytic investment into carbon removal. And some of those startups that get created will eventually succeed, but not at the scale of removals that's needed. Not getting anywhere close to the 285 million tons per year by 2030, modeled by Rocky Mountain Institute, that's needed to be on track for the 10 billion tons by 2050, which means we'll miss the window on how to reverse climate change. So this is more than a news story. This is more than this about the New York Times or that about the Wall Street Journal. We can update our messaging and update the world so that they understand that now decarbonization and removal are required. That enables carbon removal startups to create new solutions, to create new jobs, to build this new industry. It enables customers to buy carbon removal credits and know that it's going to happen. And for investors to invest knowing that carbon removal is on the menu globally. The world got into this current climate mess in part through a whole bunch of PR spun and promoted by the big oil companies at the time. So to get out of this mess, we need a new media movement to shape the narrative in a more truthful, clear, and updated way. To agree with current climate science that decarbonization and removal are required. It's going to look like building contact lists, getting messages out, sharing content with media outlets and journalists, governments, investors, customers. It's going to look like making podcasts and projects and documentaries and stories. And we'll need storytellers and artists, entrepreneurs and influencers that can help shift the paradigm about how the world sees carbon removal. It's time we stopped looking at carbon removal and talking about carbon removal as if it's optional. It's not. The person from our community who's taking the lead on this messaging work is Jack Sullivan. He's an entrepreneur. He's a visionary for what's required for greenhouse gas removal messaging. He's been an advisor and a friend for me for a long time, and he has my full support in this work that he's taken on. So Jack is out to change the message around carbon removal from optional to necessary to required and a good investment because it is. So if you're interested in contributing to this messaging effort in some way, reply to this post, reply to this email, and I'll connect you with Jack. And if you're an AirMiners member, you can get in touch directly by messaging him on AirMiners Slack at Jack Sullivan.